Hello, Speed Gaming. This is the Super Metroid multi-category tournament match between ironrusty and ptoil. For the first race, they're doing GT Max. So, nobody, do you know what GT Max is? Or you want to tell
I
us what
sure
it
do.
is?
Yeah. If you're not familiar with this category in Lower Norfair, there's a boss called Golden Chorizo, and there's a bit of debug code left over in the game that gives you a bunch of items if you're holding a certain combination of buttons while you enter his room. So, the objective of this category is to beat the game collecting as many items as possible while utilizing this GT code, we call it. The reason that's an interesting category is because the GD code allows you to double collect some items. So you can't double collect items that are unique like suits or beams, but you can double collect all ammo, energy tanks, and reserve tanks. Specifically, doing the Golden Chorizo code sets your ammo and health to certain values, and any energy tanks that you haven't picked up before then, you can go back and pick them up again to double collect them and end up beating the game with more than 100% item collection. So our runners are going to be going for 135%, which is the maximum that's possible RTA. Uh, and yeah, you'll see a fairly standard, well, not super standard actually. It's a really unique beginning of the run because they're going to be trying to collect minimal items, specifically avoiding energy tanks, avoiding missile packs, things like that as much as possible until they get the golden chorizo code, at which point it starts to look more like 100%, but with different routing, different items, and different movement. So it's a really unique category. It's a little bit lesser known compared to some of the other categories of this game, but it's a really fun one to play and a really fun one to watch. So I'm looking forward to this race.
Yeah, and we're already off to a great start because on their series escape, we saw a 4430 and a 4429.
Wow. And yeah, and getting off the ship here, they're pretty much perfectly synced.
So, as you know, also, your series timer counts down in ones and twos. So they could have been exactly frame synced when they escaped.
Oh, that's a good point. That's very true. Looks like ptoil not going for the moonfall. Uh, Rusty going for it, but ending up having to go with a little bit of a backup there.
Yeah. Pito didn't moonfall at all yesterday either, so I assume he's one of those non-moonwalk people.
That would make sense. Now, for the next important question, what morph ball colors will we see from our runners?
Pink and
Ooh,
yellow.
pink and yellow.
Nice, so we get both colors.
Runners are now heading down to Alpha Missiles, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kaizentin, but I believe this is the only missile pack that the runners will pick up prior to GT code.
Yep. If you pick up another missile pack after this one, then you end up with 134 and you're sad.
Yep. So we'll see one missile pack, one super bomb, or one super missile pack, one power bomb pack, and no E-tanks or reserve tanks, which is going to make
Yep.
for some interesting routing coming up.
Yeah, they do get to collect both suits though, so the suits are what let them get into Lower North very easily.
Yes, this is max percent GT.
So the tournament admins decided not to allow the zero tank lava dive with only Varia and high jump route. So they are required to go down, collect Varia, then collect Speed Booster, and then go up to the wreck ship to collect Gravity Suit.
Both of our runners are through parlor. Rusty took a hit from his scree, so we'll see if he farms. He's not going for a farm here, so he might get bad drops from bomb chorizo here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Rusty's probably fighting against Super Zero mission muscle memory. He's been playing ROM hacks a lot lately. Working on the randomizer for Super Zero mission.
Both of them going with non-conventional openers on BT.
Yeah,
I guess ptoil doesn't
have morph. It's the forward
Oh,
one.
that makes
There's morph ball.
that makes sense given what you just said about randomizers. And yeah, ptoil doesn't moonwalk, so
yeah, the positioning is more difficult without moonwalk. So their first major obstacle is this energy tank at the bottom of Terminator, which they need to jump over. Because if you accidentally pick it up, your run is invalid.
ptoil being extra careful to clear out the waivers. Let's see if Rusty can get the energy tank skip as well. Looking good.
And without that energy tank, Rusty is conserving energy in the green pirate shaft by killing the pirates.
Next is our one super missile pack that the runners will be grabbing, and that is early supers.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't force us to do the 5 missile spore spawn fight for this route. It takes a little while. And now, when you get into Big Pink, you have to fight against your 80% muscle memory and not wall check the charge missiles.
Right, I know Exact calls those missiles the first boss of low percent. Looks like ptoil has successfully defeated the charge missiles and got the charge gene.
Hey, up in 2! Alright.
Very nice, very nice.
Charge beam is not required. Some people choose to skip it at this point, but it makes your boss fights a little bit easier. And you have something to fall back on when you're low on ammo.
That makes sense as well.
It's just part of your strats in new bridge area, so you can lose more time by skipping it if you haven't ground out the strats for dealing without it.
Yeah, especially for something like the multi-category tournament where I have no idea how much experience these runners have with these categories, but when I was considering joining the tournament, I didn't end up having enough time to practice. But if I had joined it, I would have been running this route with a text file open telling me what item to get next, because I would not have had enough practice to have ground out all the strats and memorized everything perfectly. So yeah, that's totally what I would have done too. Just try to keep as much of my 80% muscle memory as I can, change as little as I can while still making the route work.
You see Rusty choosing to pick up Spacer for that reason.
Oh, interesting. Does Rusty normally run with Spacer?
Well, I assume he's picking up Spacer because it's part of some strat, or he's just used to it, or maybe he's forgotten that he doesn't need to pick it up.
Perhaps he just really likes Spacer.
In Pre-Cathedral, your strats are easier if you have Spacer, because you can do a charge Spacer shot for the first Death Giga, and then 3 simple Spacer shots for the second one.
That's true. It also helps with movement around like Warehouse and Speed Booster and a few spots like that where you can have an easier shot with a wider beam.
Yeah. And you saw ptoil took too much damage in the mini crate hallway, and didn't get his full load of supers off of Minicrade, so he had to reset the room.
Oh, did he get health bumped?
Yep.
Ah, ptoil just missed the first super on that quick kill there.
Yeah, Crate's hand is always in a bad place for that.
I think he got the shot. I think the timing was just off.
Yesterday, Pito had even more troubles with Crate standing up because he ran out of ammo and did not have charge beam, and had farm missiles off of
Yep,
Crate's one claw.
that hurts. Rusty's going for the charge shot quick kill. Freezes
Alright.
Craig's hand in place and makes the super shots a lot easier.
Good old reliable. I do that Crate quick kill myself, so.
Mini Craig dropping plenty of supers for ptoil this time.
Almost going into the Crate pocket. I remember one time I was running this and I ran into the room, realized I should not be in there, and just killed P-Toms and left without grabbing the tank, so. Rusty, no!
Oh no, oh no! Okay, good. ptoil skipping the high jump tank as well. Good.
Since this category is so much like Hundo, it's really easy to just say, oh, I'll run it like Hundo. Except you only do that for the second half. The first half, you have to be careful.
ptoil bombing, or Rusty bombing out the floor, so he doesn't even have to worry about the energy tank.
Bombing it out's not entirely safe either. If you accidentally stay too close to your bomb, it can boost you into the tank.
You sound like you're speaking from experience there.
I haven't quite done that one myself. I go for the jump over strat, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, if I mess this up, this is how I'm going to mess it up. But if I jump over it, I think I'll mess that up less.
Karst, they could reset, but that would be a pretty significant time loss. But yes, and that has happened before, where we've had a runner finish their race to discover that they miss items and then reset and start over.
Yeah, neither of them has saved since the ship, so they'd be set back quite a bit if they did reset right now. We have seen people save at the tunnel to the right of high jump before going in there, for that reason.
Just in case you accidentally wall jump check that E-tank.
Yep.
King Cac not giving Rusty an opening there.
Yeah.
There we go.
King Cac had to wait him out and wait for him to break spin. Pito's got his speed booster and got the shot off nicely to open the door with no bonking.
Didn't even need spacer.
Yeah, I believe Spacer makes that shot a little bit different. Not sure if it's easier or if... I think it would be easier because you could fire a little bit lower when you're doing it.
Yeah. As far as I understand it, Spacer shot will bonk only if the entire beam hitbox collides with blocks. So if there's opening anywhere, the shot can go through. Right, our runners have speed booster now, so they're going to head back up to Rex ship in order to get gravity suit, so that they can get into lower Norfair.
Speed booster is one of the two easy ways to get over moat without collecting the moat missile. It's possible to bomb jump over moat, but that one's difficult to do, and collecting grapple to go over the moat would be much slower than collecting speed booster.
Yeah, and the bomb jump route is disallowed for this tournament anyway, correct?
Yeah, you're not
Runners are
allowed
required
to
to
bomb
get
jump over
both.
moat to go there first. If you collected speed booster and then went up and decided to bomb jump over moat after getting speed booster, that's technically allowed, but silly.
It would also just be slower than sparking across anyway.
Yeah. The bomb jump route is more volatile, so that's why it's not being allowed. This Alpha Power 1 pack. Hey, Rusty going for the
Nice Alpha Spark.
Using with a whole 39 energy. If you're used to Fantoon, it's not too bad to enter Fantoon's room with only 29. You just have to play more conservatively.
It seems a little bit scary though, like one bad flame and you're dead. Maybe two bad flames.
Rusty missed his super on the Ripper. When he misses the hero shot and doesn't get it up the first time, he goes to super the top Ripper, well, the second Ripper from the top, so it doesn't get in his way on the way back. So.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, falling down Red Tower kind of tends to spiral because now all the Rippers are out of place, and next time you come up, you either have to do like awkward wall jumps and end up in a weird spot, or you hit a Ripper.
Yep.
All right, time to spark across the moat. One more missile pack we have to be really careful about skipping.
Fortunately, the ceiling over there is sloped, so you can just spark against the ceiling and the slopes will push you down through the door, but you'll still be high enough to skip the missile.
Very nice. Rusty taking a save.
Yeah, so...
just in case something goes wrong with that missile or Fantoon, I guess.
So if ptoil dies in Fantoon, that'll put Rusty ahead quite a bit. For these jumps across the ocean, you actually want to turn off high jump and not turn off speed booster so that you get the lower jumps.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I knew that those jumps are much easier with high jump turned off, but I don't know if I've ever tried doing it with speed on. That's pretty clever.
As you know, if you have high jump, if you have speed but no high jump, until you have enough run speed, your jumps are all lower. Rusty going into the moat before sparking. So Rusty spent less energy on the spark than ptoil did. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, it looks like he is now in the lead energy-wise, making up for that Alpha Spark we saw earlier.
Yeah, he did some farming in Hellway, putting that Spazer Beam to use, so one advantage of that Spazer Beam was he was able to farm in Hellway with only a single shot per enemy, whereas ptoil's farms took 2 shots.
Alright, let's see how Fantoon goes for ptoil here. That was a slow. He got 4 shots in, it looked like. Looks like Fantoon's giving us another slow. Rusty's going to farm the atomics for a little bit extra health.
Ooh. And it's better to do that before opening the door so that you don't fall in on accident. Because you only have 5 missiles in this fight, you have to kind of manage your ammo and stay below 5 so that you can get missile drops. And Pantun ends
Yeah,
up taking a
ptoil did
lot of
a
rounds.
good job of that there, but Fentoon ended up swinging around really bad and he wasn't able to get a top cut off. And Fentoon is down for ptoil. Rusty gets it fast, or was that a mid? Oh, it's going for the golden shower.
All right, that's one use of Spazer.
I've never seen this Fentoon strat before.
Rusty got some lucky energy drops there. Actually, those energy drops might have all been from Health Bomb. Because he was in Health Bomb for a bit. Yikes. Rusty was below 20 for a bit, so...
Yeah, looks like he's in health bomb again. Oh, Fentoon's enraged now.
Luckily, Rusty is saved
Fortunately,
by the charge beam.
if you have charge, then you can pseudo screw the flames. Like that. Joel's got 87 energy heading towards bowling. It'd be nice to get another farm just in case a damage boost goes badly.
Yeah, this is another place where it's useful to take your shoes off. Because speed, no high jump, makes it so much easier to get 2 jumps across bowling instead of 3.
Oh, interesting. Oh no, took a hit from a pancake.
Yeah, those shoots will shoot you for 40 damage with the Vari suits. So.
Oh, he's at 89. Okay, he's gonna refarm the room.
It's a rare power bomb drop instead of the energy.
There we go, full health. See if we can get across bowling in 2 hits. Good first jump. Good damage boost. Good damage boost. Very nicely done.
No problem.
I've always had so much trouble with bowling. I always mess up those damage boosts. I'll take like 4 hits or something.
I don't
But
even
recently
go for damage boost.
the wonderful people over at MetConst pointed out something that helped me a lot with that room, and it's that the spikes that you see there are fake. The actual spikes are in the floor, a tile below where it looks like they are. So I was always trying to damage boost too early because I was like, oh, I gotta boost when I hit the spikes, but spikes are actually a tile lower than it looks like they are.
Yeah, there's a lot of places where this game will just kind of fake you out like that. Rusty is opening the Jerk Robot's room door early, so he doesn't have to kill all the enemies on a second trip through this room.
That makes sense. ptoil has his gravity suit now. He's got to avoid the mote missiles once again. This is a room to be kind of careful on with this energy because those crabs are a bit mean.
Yeah, if he'd landed that pseudo screw wrong, that would have been the end of his run.
Yeah. Spader's helping Rusty again with the pancakes.
Alright, going for the short charge. Let's see it. Rusty was trying to set up for the short charge so he could spark across bowling instead.
I didn't know you have enough health to do that.
Rusty did not deboost at all, and it still got across in two hits.
Very nice. ptoil did the deboost off of the scree itself instead of the particle.
Now, if they really wanted to make the route interesting, they could go into Meridian now, go collect space jumps so they could use GT's left door instead of the right door.
Oh, now that would be fun. ptoil is breaking the tube, but it doesn't look like he's going with that option. All right, Rusty, don't grab the moat missiles. Good.
Ptoil cramming a couple of power bombs before heading into lower warfare. Probably wants to grab some energy before that lava dive. Rusty is looking forward to having 5 supers for the Green Gate glitch. He's doing his farm now in Hellway. Afterlight hallway is always so awkward with these orbs and random things sticking up and guys shooting lava at you. 72 is not great energy.
Yeah, when I was learning GT Classic to try to prepare for the tournament, that was like the spot that I felt like I had to practice the most. Like most of it, you could kind of just improvise your movement through and have a passable run, but Megalodite Hallway was just a disaster, or I'd take too much damage and then not be able to lava dive. So
Okay, yeah, I forgot about how much the Vari suit helps in that lava dive. Ptoil
nice mock ball into the save
more
room.
damage from the lava, so taking the save finally, so that if he fails the Green Gate glitch, he can reset here.
Yeah, he also took a pre-dive save as well. All right, Green Gate time for ptoil. First try, let's go.
Alright, let's go.
Now it's time for the GT code. When he enters this room, he's going to hold down A, B, X, and Y. And then he's got to immediately pause and turn off Spader, because otherwise he will crash the game when he tries to shoot. And if you look at his ammo and health, you will notice now that they are different. Specifically, they are much more, and they are exactly 100 missiles, 20 supers, and 20 power bombs, and 7 E-tanks. So any items that he has not already collected, he can now go and collect again to increase that number beyond 100, 20, and 20, and increase his item collection percentage beyond 100. Looks like
had
Rusty
a bit of a
is...
spooky lava dive. Missed his first gravity jump and then almost took a flame on his second.
Oh man.
But got through. One interesting thing about those 7 E-tanks is your max energy is 700, not 799. So when you're planning how to spend your energy, you're planning for 6 E-tanks of energy.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things that threw me off when I was trying GT Classic. It's like, what? Why can't I get more energy than I have? Especially in Turian, that really messed with me a little bit, trying to figure out how to get the right energy levels for stand-up and whatnot.
Yeah, so that's why
Okay.
GT Classic has the pauseless mode, where if you try to avoid pausing in terrain. If you
Right.
can't avoid pausing, you have to manually empty your reserve in order to do that stand-up.
Rusty clutched out that gate glitch from the very last super. Got the GT code. Did not fire Murder Beam by accident.
Yeah, so the easy way to avoid firing it by accident is to actually let go of the face buttons as soon as the door hits the right side of the screen. Because at that
Right.
point, the check has happened, and
And make sure you don't press them before entering the door either.
yeah,
The other big caveat that tripped me up at this part of the run was you have to be sure you collect screw attack after fighting GT and not before,
yeah,
because it doesn't. GT code doesn't give you items; it overwrites your items. So if you grab screw, then you would not have screw afterwards, and it would not be there afterwards for you to pick up. So um, now that our runners have gotten through the GT code, this run is suddenly going to start looking a lot less like low percent and a lot more like 100%. So now, since they're already in Lower North Fair, they're going to loop around and grab all the items that are in this area. Starting with that missile pack to the left of Golden Chorizo.
yeah. For some reason, nobody does the super jump route. Where you take a hit from GT and do something special to
For
super
some
jump
reason,
bubble blocks.
because like it's multi-frame perfect and you die if you miss it. Yeah, it's a cool strat. It's a shame that there's not a setup or something to make it easier. I know a year or two ago, Snick was looking into trying to figure out if there was a way to like use grapple, or like maybe there's a setup where you shine spark against the blocks and use a crystal flash or something like that. But the positionings for those kinds of things just barely don't work out. There's and then there's you would be able to G mode, except that there's no enemies in the screw attack room. Like this is one of those spots where there's so many ways that like look like they should work to get through those crumble blocks, and they just don't.
Ito is taking a bit of a kick in the pants from the Ninja Pyre, so he got out of position. Didn't quite get the fast strat.
Nice fast pillars for Rusty. Ooh, and a
It would be
powerhouse.
awesome to have a RTA setup for super jump.
It would be sweet. Oh, I said before, you die if you mess it up. That's one of the ways you can mess it up. If you don't die and you still mess it up, then you go out of bounds, which is arguably even worse.
Yeah, because out of bounds counts as major glitches, and now your run's not valid. So. You know, it's funny, you get those 20 supers and you
Ooh,
think, hey,
looks
I've
like
got all these supers to spend on Ridley, right? But the times that I spent all my supers on Ridley, I found myself in Meridia with like 0 supers, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I've got no supers here for all these red and green doors.
oh, huh. I
So I
would not have
stopped
thought
spending
about that.
supers on Ridley.
Yeah, that makes sense. And supers don't save that much time if you have plasma anyway.
Yeah.
Nice missile shot to reduce lag, and then the deboost off of the YOLO. And a reverse powerhouse. ptoil's 2 for 2 with powerhouse today. Meanwhile, Rusty getting that Kego off the Kazan.
Unless you're going for
Sparking the
old reliable spark reverse pirates.
pure KD strats.
Honestly, I practiced that spark for RBO, and once
Makes
I
sense.
had it optimized for RBO, I figured, well, this is good enough to get me through any category where I have speed. So I'll just stick with that.
That makes sense. Yeah, and despite it not looking like it, the runners do have X-ray, so microwave is an option there as well.
Yeah, microwave is another favorite of mine because in suitless categories, microwave was the only way that I could get energy positive and farm full in that room.
It's also just fun. Like it feels good to have some X-ray tech in a main category. Like with us not being able to do super jumps or G mode or anything like that, like at least we can microwave.
Yeah, the easy X-ray tech.
Oh, Ridley is not being nice to Rusty over there. Some really, really obnoxious pogos.
Yeah, there's a lot of spikes in this room than usual from when I see Rusty fighting
Tail
Ridley.
away.
The Super Zero mission Ridley has a bunch of spikes scattered around the room. It's actually possible for Ridley to pick you up and then impale you on the spike and leave you soft
Oh
locked.
no.
Well, not exactly soft locked since the spike kills you, but you're stuck until you die.
Rusty's out of Ridley's room with no more trouble.
And Pito is almost out of Lower Norfair. Just has this one Lower Norfair item left. Of course, now we're into Upper Norfair and we've got a bunch of little missile packs to go pick up.
Yep. This is the part of the run where menuing is now impossible because you have these invisible menu items that are going to trip you up every time you try to select something.
You can just go with the item cancel once you're going past super power bombs. So.
True, but you have to relearn all your muscle memory to do that.
Just gotta relearn revisiting speed because you went there once to get the speed booster. Now you have to get the speed missiles.
Right.
Ah,
Well, that spark out of there is cool. Is that bonk just like RNG bad subpixel thing, or is it something that's avoidable?
I believe it is a bad subpixel thing. So, I believe that's one of the places where they didn't put the slope tile behind the slope. So
Darn vanilla tiling errors.
they've got a solid tile in a place where they shouldn't. You don't get pushed up. But if you're aligned correctly, you can get pushed up enough.
Pito has actually hit two of those bad tiling errors in this run because he tripped on the door out of Lower Norfair Firefly's room. The one Rusty is tripping on right now.
Yep. That one you have to get just enough speed before you go out the door. So that your forward speed counts as your downward speed also for sticking to slopes. So if you've got enough, then you stick to the slope and don't trip. Alright, Rusty's out. Now it's his turn to go over and collect those wave and speed missiles. We don't have to collect the wave beam because we already have it. We don't need to visit the location.
Yeah, much to the chagrin of some members of our community, we do not have map completion categories in this tournament.
People can still add it as their own gentleman's agreement challenge if they want to.
That's true. That's very true. But you can't make other people run map completion.
Yeah. If it was my choice, I'd add more suitless categories.
All right, let's see if Rusty's able to get out of here without hitting any slope errors.
Aha, that's the
Very
trick.
nice.
Rusty aligned against the right side of that one tile gap before he fell down, so that his subpixel was normalized to a specific thing that would work.
That makes sense.
Oh. ptoil fired in just the right way to only get a single hit with his first plasma shot on Croc.
Interesting. I didn't know that was possible.
I didn't realize it either until you did it just now. I saw the plasma go through and then stop.
ptoil was going for a wraparound shot, it looked like, but I didn't hear the door open.
Yeah.
Oh, nice spike suit.
Oh,
First
yeah.
try, too.
I know there's a position for wave plus spacer. Plasma probably requires a different position. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think the spacer one is on the edge of the ledge, and then it looked like ptoil was on top of the pedestal.
Does that spike suit even save time over just space jumping across?
Probably not, since you have the crash animation.
Probably does for Hundo.
Well, Hondo wants the spike suit for X-ray.
True. But if you're doing early Croc, maybe you'd use it there. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't use a spike suit there in early Croc, but I do spark there.
Makes sense.
Because otherwise, you don't have space jump at that point in early Croc. And you'd have to fall down and jump back up.
Yeah. This is vanilla. So this is in this category. This is entirely vanilla. It's just that for this tournament, this is a multi-category tournament. So the runners don't know what category they'll be playing until the start of the run, basically. So same game, vanilla ROM for all the categories here. Just different categories. Rusty's following Croc on back.
Yeah, one of the good, cool swag uses is moonwalk. The other cool thing to do is flash onto Croc with your grapple beam and hitch a ride all the way across.
Yeah, you get to see Croc's limbs go all in weird places that way.
And apparently they said Croc goes on a background layer, and when you latch onto him with grapple, the layers get misaligned. I'm not sure that's correct, but I know that his
Yeah, I
arm was
think that
detached
it's
from his body.
yeah. I haven't looked into all the technical details about it, but yeah, that's right about the background layer. And then I think the other piece there is that grapple like stuns enemies in weird ways. And Croc is probably made up of multiple different enemy objects that interact with each other. So it's well known that Croc's tongue is a separate enemy from Croc himself.
Speaking of weird collisions, we saw ptoil stand on the right edge of the elevator and try several times to activate it and get nothing. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so that is a property that we call the collision oscillator. So this game has this weird, well, it handles collisions in a way that is straightforward, but it ends up causing problems. And that's that when Samus is moving, it tries to see if she's moving into a tile, and it'll check along the leading edge of her hitbox to see if it intersects with any tiles, and if it does, then it pushes her out of that tile and moves on. The problem is that depending on which direction it does the checks, then you can get different results. So, like in this room Pito is in right now with that energy tank, if the game checked for collisions from left to right, then Samus would collide with the ceiling first and then get pushed out of the ceiling and never collide with the energy tank. But fortunately for Ptoil, the game checked from right to left, and Samus got the energy tank first before colliding with the ceiling and getting pushed out. And so what the devs did is they made the direction of collision oscillate every frame. So 1/60th of a second, it checks from left to right. The next frame, it checks from right to left. And this means that a lot of strats in this game end up just being 50-50 luck, depending on what collision oscillator RNG you get. So elevators are one particular example of that, where the game only considers you to be standing on an elevator if it checked for collisions such that it processed the elevator collision first instead of processing the collision of the ground next to the elevator. So if you're only halfway on an elevator, then trying to activate it only has a 50% chance of working. Stratlog, it doesn't check both tiles every frame. It's a loop that basically starts on one edge of Samus's hitbox, checks if there's a tile there. If there's not one, it proceeds to the next tile. If there is a tile, it stops. Because like normally, if you collide with a wall, if you collide with two tiles of a wall, it doesn't matter that you collided with both tiles of the wall. It only matters that you hit the wall and you got pushed out of it. So if you collide with one wall tile and one empty tile, then if it checks the empty tile first, it'll continue and move on to the wall. But if it checks the wall first, it won't bother checking the other tile because it already knows you collided with something. But yeah, then the problem with that is when you have interactable tiles along that wall, then you end up with different behavior depending on the processing order. Yeah,
See that
exactly,
nice
Stratlog.
wave on Blatwoon. I think in that crate energy tank room, I think if you aim down and turn before you hit it, can you get a couple of extra chances to pick up the tank?
You can. And the reason for that is that turning around is what we call an uninterruptible animation. So that means that while you are turning around, then the game will not forcibly transition Samus to another pose as the result of like collisions or something like that. So you can do, like, for example, if you stand halfway off the edge of a platform and you turn around so that you fall off the platform, then you'll start falling in turnaround, but while you're turning around, you can still jump because the game still considers you to be standing. It can't interrupt that turnaround to push you off of the platform. And in that case, in a case with that energy tank, if you're turning around while you hit the ceiling, then the game won't let Samus collide with the ceiling. It will keep her from moving up into it, but she will stay against the ceiling with her upwards momentum. And every frame that she is turning around, she will repeatedly collide with the ceiling during that time, and that means that you're guaranteed to get two different collision oscillator patterns, and you're guaranteed to grab that energy tank. The downside, of course, is that you are stuck against the ceiling for the entire duration of that turnaround, because you can never bonk and lose your momentum, and so you're stuck up there for an extra half second, and you lose a little bit of time from that.
So during that, we saw ptoil microwave Dragon making use of that invisible X-ray scope. The boss's iframes count down. The boss's iframes count down during the X-ray scope, but the plasma beam stays there, and so it just repeatedly deals damage every time that you release the X-ray scope.
Yeah, if you ever played Mega Man 1 and used the pause glitch against the yellow devil enemy, it's basically the same glitch.
Meridia is a complicated area to route when you're trying to pick up all the items, and it's hard to decide what the optimal order is.
Yeah, those one-way
Rusty and
sandpits end up.
appear to be taking slightly different orders. So
Those one-way sandpits mean
one
that you
thing
have
we
to take
won't see
at
is
least.
Shack Pool.
Yeah, you have to take at least 2 passes through a lot of Meridia because of the sandpits being one-way doors. So sometimes some runners will choose to get items on the way in or on the first pass, and sometimes some runners will choose to get them on the second pass. What's important is that you don't think you're going to get it on the second pass the first time around, and then think you got it on the first pass the second time. Then that leads to skipping items.
Yeah. Just gotta do something you'll remember. So since the
never thought
players
about
got
this,
Spring
but
Ball for free, there's no visit to Shack Tool here.
oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. There's nothing there except spring.
Pito showing us that first try gate glitch again.
Yeah, so here Rusty could have got Batu and E-Tank now, but I believe it's faster to save your run speed and use it to get this halfie instead of having to like stop and then short charge again or something like that, and then get the E-Tank
Yeah.
the next time we come through that room.
Yeah, you get it after Dragon. Do the same thing in Hondo. Sorry about that. So, Rusty did this beach and watering hole on his first pass, and Pito is now doing it on his second pass.
Rusty showing us some more moonwalk swag. I'm going for that Dragon microwave. You'll see he crouches here. That's a little trick that makes it easy to tell once you're done, once you've killed Dragon. because Dragon's death animation forces Samus to stand up, oddly enough. I think the reasoning for it is in order to like break Samus out of a grapple kill if she's doing that. But there's so many different ways that it can cause like blue suits or soft locks or things like that, that weird little forced stand.
I haven't seen a soft lock off yet. I've
It's
only ever
really
seen blue
rare.
suits.
And it doesn't happen if you're doing normal Dragon strats. It happened to me once when I was learning the game, and I searched around in Discord for it and found some stuff about it. But if you're in a Shine Spark and the soft lock forces you like pixel perfectly into a standing pose on one of the ledges in the room, then you can't move.
Oh, so you're stuck inside of a block, that kind?
You're not stuck inside of the block. You're standing on top of the block, but you can't like input doesn't work. I think it's because like something from the Shine Spark is still active and normally input is disabled during a Shine Spark. Probably if you're midair, then the falling or something like that ends up resetting your input handler. But something about landing on that block just right ends up. Yeah, I don't remember all the details, but something about landing on that block just right means that the game never turns your input back on and you're just stuck.
Interesting. ptoil just has one Murdia item left, and that's the Main Street Spark.
Another
Yeah,
first try
3
gig.
for 3.
I feel like gate glitch is one of those tricks where either you get it first try or you just have to burn through like 20 supers to get it.
Yep.
Like it never seems you never seem to get it second try.
You know what they should do? They should go through the gates and remove the solid block to the right of the switch. Like, not the part that's part of the switch, but to the right. I believe if there's not a solid tile above and to the right of the shutter, then you can actually get your super above the shutter and have a much easier gate glitch.
Yeah. There'd be some
Like, you notice
there'd be
that
some
blue
left
block
side gate glitches.
behind
Yep.
that
Yep,
gate
that
right
left
there?
side gate glitch would be like somewhat possible if not for that. I know Snick has spent a lot of hours trying to get through that gate, and if my memory is correct, he's done it on PAL in TAS, but not on NTSC without Gmode.
Yeah. The reason why I say it's that solid block that matters, even on the right side gates, is it turns out that if you don't have that solid block there, then you can gate glitch a blue gate with just a P-shot.
Oh right. There's that weird like Gmode like thing that happens, isn't there?
Not even a G-mode thing. I'll have to show you the clip later.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like some
So
weird
Red
PLM
Tower.
thing that happens.
So Red Tower, you just need to collect the Beta PBs and the Alpha missile pack behind Alpha PBs, which ptoil has done, and we've just headed up to Wreck Ship now. Rusty, I believe, still has one sandpit left. Yeah, still has one sandpit and Main Street missile left in Gordia.
Yeah, that Alpha
Rusty
Power Bombs room is a good
took
showcase
the more
of
traditional Hundo route, where he
that
went
Alpha
up
Power
through the
Bombs
toilet.
room. Sorry.
So Rusty went up through the toilet while ptoil went around through Main Street for the second loop.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes sense because of Hundo, you'd be doing that to get plasma.
Yeah, but I guess it's slower in this. I'm not sure exactly why.
You don't have to go up to Plasma Spark room for any other reason in this, right? Because there's only
Yeah,
plasma up there.
yeah. You've already got plasma, so you don't need to go pick it up.
Yeah. Got a few wreck ship items to collect.
Yeah, the spooky missile in the main shaft is more interesting in this one because the spikes and the platforms are turned on now.
Yeah, the spikes now have electricity, which means that they can now stab you. Because apparently they need that. Rusty now has all the Meridia items. I don't know, Stroutlog. Like maybe the freezing dulls the spikes a little bit. Like I don't know. I think you can have some explanations for that one, but the spikes not working without electricity, that one I'm not so sure about.
Well, they're moving up and down when they have electricity. Maybe
That's
it's
true.
moving up and down.
Maybe.
On the other hand, the bowling spikes don't move up and down, so what's the deal there?
Do those ones need electricity?
You know, I haven't
Like
been
if
there
you
outside of a randomizer with Vantoon still alive, so I'd have to go check. These ones at the bottom of this wreck ship E-tank room, these ones hurt without electricity,
okay.
as demonstrated by ptoil. Well, wait, the electricity's on. Anyway, if you come there with the ship turned off by backboring through Maria somehow, and those spikes will hurt you.
The energy tank also is not there without electricity, which I guess that makes sense because it's an energy tank, but
Yeah, there's a lot of these items that are not placed until Fantoon is dead. So. You can't just break the game and go through without killing Fantoon and still be able to pick up all this stuff.
work robots being somewhat uncooperative as usual.
Yeah, Screw Tech takes away your iframes, so you can't use the normal Hundo strap for getting through them.
Hasn't ptoil already been through here, Stratlog? So yeah, the door should just is open already because of the first pass through the
Yeah, they
room.
already went through Attic once when they were coming through here to get Gravity Suit.
CG code does not reset doors.
Yeah, for some reason they're not doing space-time max percent. I don't know why.
Probably because they want to be able to go to sleep tonight. They don't want to be up all night playing that.
One thing about the wreck ship V-Tank is you saw the players already had 2 full rows of V-Tanks displayed, but that means that they just have some invisible E-Tanks on top.
This category is great. Like the HUD kind of makes sense.
It's actually most of what's there. I mean, the missile, super, and power bomb counts are never wrong. And the auto display for the reserve tanks is usually right after you get something put in them. You get the reserve tanks that are already full, but it's not displaying the icon for them until you actually pick up some more energy.
Oh, interesting.
So Tilly asking what categories were banned. ptoil vetoed low percent ice, and Rusty vetoed North Korea percent.
Yeah, and this category was Rusty's pick, so we'll see what ptoil picks for game 2. All right, we got the bottom ocean missiles. So now it's time to finish cleanup with Brinstar.
Yep. Just a loop through Criterion Brainstorm, we're done.
All right, P12 setting up for the gauntlet wraparound shot.
Yeah, you
There
notice
it is.
he uses this forward position. There's also a position that's much farther up the hill, where you're just standing on the ground, not jumping in the air.
Fortunately, this not being 100%, we have a lot more energy, so we don't have to worry about filling up reserves and avoiding the frame perfect door skip.
Well, taking those quick drops a little bit carefully. Doesn't want to accidentally fall past the missiles.
Yep. Better to do it right than do it twice. That was a cool speedball through there. Back to early supers once again, but this time doing it the intended way.
Yeah. And going through here with Speed Booster for once. I think this is the only category that has Speed Booster for this room. All the others, you come here... No, you don't come here after getting Speed Booster. This one came here the normal way to do the early mock ball.
I don't know the runner's PBs offhand. I could look them up, but there's also a chance that they don't have PBs submitted for this category, or that their times on leaderboards aren't accurate, because this is not one of the categories that runners are required to submit PB times for in order to enter the tournament.
Let's see. ptoil submitted a 125.50 3 years ago. And Rusty submitted a 128.56 27 days ago. So Rusty's is accurate.
Yeah, so the seeding for the tournament was determined by the sum of the runners' PBs in any percent, 100%, and GT Classic. So runners had to have PBs in all three of those categories, but the other categories are optional. Some runners might have not even learned one or more of the categories because they do have vetoes that they can use. So um, so like yeah, you might decide that you don't want to run low ice, for example, and so you could just veto that every time and not even have to learn. So runners were only required to submit PBs in the three categories that tend to be the most played outside of this tournament setting. And that's just used to determine seeding, basically.
Oh no.
Oh, yep.
Rusty's gonna have to repeat Gauntlet. I think the best thing for Rusty to do is repeat Gauntlet after the Bryn loop. Just remember it for later.
Oh, interesting. Because yeah, it is on the way to Turian from.
Because later on he'll be coming up Parlor. He can just go right out of Parlor and go to landing site to repeat Gauntlet.
And it looks
Whereas
like
if he
he's
does
doing
it
that.
now, that'd be a bunch of extra door transitions comparatively. So. Rusty needs to go to Bryn Reserve. Not forget those 4 items back there in Bryn Reserve. Because you already went there once at the beginning of the game, it's easy to forget that you need to come back.
Yeah, so in that room after Gauntlet with the two missile packs, there's a shaft made of crumble blocks that you have to fall down, and those crumble blocks, a lot of them respawn after you fall through them. So, and you can only break them from above, and so you have to stand perfectly in the middle of the room and fall through like both pairs of crumble blocks together. Otherwise, one side will respawn and you can't get from one missile pack to the other. You have to make sure that you break both sets of crumble blocks on your way down. So what happened to Rusty there was he tried to go for a quick drop strat, which is using that the uninterruptible animation of turning around that we talked about earlier. If you stand on top of the crumble blocks and wiggle back and forth in turnarounds, you can preserve vertical speed and fall through the crumbles way faster. But the risk of doing that is that as you're turning around, you might move side to side, and that might end up cause you to get
no.
misaligned with the crumble blocks.
Rusty's forgetting Bryn
Oh,
Reserve.
Rusty, yeah, he didn't. He didn't get Green Brinstar Reserve before entering tanks. He didn't go back through early Serpru's room, and he didn't get it after either. So it looks like he's forgotten it. Hopefully he remembers before the end of the run. Because if he doesn't, then that's disqualification for this match.
If ptoil finishes with 135 and Rusty finishes with 131, then ptoil would win regardless of times. Got a good Mission Impossible escape though. So that's a difficult wall jump to get out.
Oh, that wave gate being a little bit troublesome there.
Yeah,
There we
I've been
go.
having some trouble with that recently myself. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Nice pixel perfect super shot from Rusty to break the off-screen super missile block.
I think that was the 2/1 position, so 4 pixels wide.
I
There's
see.
several positions that work. The furthest forward is only a single pixel. Then there's another one that's roughly 16 pixels back that's 2 pixels wide, and then there's another one that's 3 pixels, and another that's 4, and then the furthest back one is 5 pixels wide.
That makes sense. Math gets weird sometimes in this game.
Yeah, it's a matter of how the super is aligned when it goes off screen. Whether it will actually hit the block before it sees that it's gone off screen and despawns.
So having a little bit of one tile gap trouble.
Yeah, one tile gaps can be a little bit difficult in this game.
The Boyon just jumped up.
Fortunately, ptoil backs up with that tight short charge, so.
Right, Rusty is not too far behind, but he does have to remember. He does have to get that one missile past Gauntlet, and he has to remember that he didn't get Brinstar reserve items.
Yeah, so Rusty's actually very far behind because of those two things. That's extra elevator rides, and if you've ever waited
Yeah.
for an elevator, you know they take a long time.
Nice spark. I don't know if I've seen that before.
ptoil did the same thing.
Makes sense. Maybe that's what Hundo runners do, but I thought I was used to Hundo runners just screw attacking up there.
Yeah, Hundo runners just use screw attack because no crash animation for screw attack. And you don't have to run over to the left to get space for charging your spark.
Ptoil's at the golden 4 now. Ooh. Those are some bomb jumps. Impressive. Ooh, and a ceiling bomb jump? Rusty gets the Shine Spark charge up the elevator. Your Shine Spark timer does not decrease while you're riding an elevator, so you can charge the spark at the bottom and then use it up here to get through this room a bit faster.
Yeah, I've heard that for a task, it would be faster to just run a space jump through rather than charge the side spark. But for a human, it's so typed that you're better off sparking.
Interesting. That makes sense.
Because it's difficult to get a line correctly and actually get through without bonking and losing your speed when you're space jumping.
Yeah. And sparks have instant acceleration. Well, not quite instant, but very fast acceleration to max speed. Whereas if you space jump, then like you have to try to, preserve your, run as fast as you can for as long as possible, and then try to jump in the last frame or something like that to get the best speed through there.
Alright, Pito's through the Metroid rooms. Didn't have to worry about getting scammed on super drops at all. Because he's got 325 missiles. So no missile packs for ptoil.
I hope so, Stratlog.
Looks like we're setting up for the old. I need this Slashio skip for ptoil.
With the bomb spread. The second jump got him.
Okay. But there's no grab through the door like we saw yesterday.
With this many energy tanks, though,
Yeah, this
it's a
takes
little bit
while.
longer to. Yes, the next match will be a different category. We don't know yet what category it will be. Rusty picked the category for this race, so ptoil will pick the category for the next race. And then if we go to a game 3, then it'll be a randomly selected category from one of the 3 that has not already been picked or vetoed. So we've already seen. So this is GT Max, and the players have vetoed Low Ice and North Korea. So the next race will be either any percent, 100%, reverse boss order, or GT Classic.
Yeah, so Rusty has 2 problems here. One is Terminator, which he missed because he had to go through this gauntlet repeat. And the other one is Brinstar Reserve.
Oh, he didn't remember Brinstar Reserve. Oh, ptoil just got a speed Zeb skip.
Alright, that's pretty
It's a
tight.
really difficult short charge.
Random players do that all the time because they don't always have ice beam for the Zeb skip.
Yeah, my first randomizer race ever, I didn't know that you could do Zeb skip with ice and no wave, or I didn't know how to do it. So I spent several minutes trying to get that short charge with speed Zeb skip.
I spent a long time not knowing how to Zeb skip at all, so I spent a while just avoiding the Zebs every time.
So just taking the catch-ups to the face so you can get damage down faster. Looks like he's setting up for stand-up. All right.
You gotta be a little bit careful in this thing. This one you're less likely to soft lock than in other categories, because even if you're stuck, unable to move on this left side, Mother Brain will kick you and let you move again long before the baby finishes filling you up, so.
Yeah, you do still have to be careful not to get slow locked, though.
Yeah. Rusty seems to have decided to turn back for something.
Maybe he remembered Brinstar Reserve. Maybe did he use the refill station? Maybe he saw his ammo as short of what it's supposed to be or something there.
The refill station is
Or no,
after
we
the
didn't get there.
game.
That's after baby skip. He'd be soft locked by that point. So never mind.
Yeah. So what did tell him is he's at 310 missiles. The Metroids told him. So you pick up all the
Oh,
missile drops from the Metroids and you realize, hey, wait, I'm at 310, not 325.
yeah.
But he knows that he's missing something.
He doesn't. It doesn't look like he knows what though, because he's not heading back down to Brinstar. That kind of hurts because there's so many missiles in the game. It could be any of them. Yeah, he's farming enemies to see if they drop missiles. He's going to try a ship refill probably, just to make sure.
The ship refill will reveal the super and power bomb counts.
What should those be? Is that correct?
Yep, 65 is correct because your normal max is 50.
We got 20
GT code
extras
says
from GT
20.
code, minus the 5 that we picked up before. Makes sense.
Checking his criteria map. Oh, he's going to the right to check his wreck ship. Or maybe this Brinstar map. He's going over here to check his Brinstar map.
Yeah, he should hopefully see it then.
Well, here's the thing about early supers. It's just that one 2-tile room that you missed.
Yeah, that's
Most
true.
of the room you went through. And you saw
Yeah,
it.
it's not going to be a hole in the map. And with that, ptoil is finished in first place at a time of, well, according to race time, it is 1:26:48.
Yeah, I think Rusty saw it over there on the left. Oh, Pito is giving away the secret race time chat. So, oh no, Rusty's going
Oh,
down
he's
right
not going
now.
there. He's going to check warfare.
Oh.
Rusty forgot Brinstar Reserve. On the you go there before at the beginning of the game to get early supers, but then you have to take a second pass through there to get the 3 missiles in the reserve tank, and he missed that on his way back through Brinstar.
Also, unlike the randomizer tournaments, players are allowed to watch the restream and have chat open because there's no special info on vanilla to get unfairly in a vanilla category tournament.
He should be at 325, 65, and 65, but he's short those 3 missiles, and he's also short a reserve, but we can't see that.
He could see the reserve if he went to that
Yeah,
part of
that's
his
true.
pause screen. Because if he,
But it's kind of a niche thing to think to check.
yeah. So if he hits R right now and goes to check his reserve amount, he'll see 600 instead of 700. This was the fastest route to go to each area to be able to look at the map for each area.
Yeah,
Because
all of
this
his
tube is
randomizer skills
between,
coming in handy there.
yeah.
Yeah, those missiles plus the 2 in the wall hidden behind the reserve tank.
Now, in theory, if ptoil had also missed something, like if we see if 134 show up on ptoil's screen, and
This
then
is true.
Rusty shows up with 135, then Rusty wins. So,
All right, it looks like yeah. Let's wait for that 135.
yep,
And
it's
there it is.
135.
So yeah, ptoil officially wins this match. And yeah, I'm not sure what the procedure is. Do we take a short break here before game two, or do they just go
Yeah,
straight into it?
it's up to the runners how long of a break they want.
We hop over into the other race time room, see what's going on.
Looks like Rusty has chosen to play with the crabs for a bit and shows just how much energy you have after getting 700 for free and then collecting 14 energy tanks, which you've got 2100 total energy.
Yeah, I remember not too long ago when we said, "Be careful of those crabs; they'll one hit you." All right, and we do have our category for game two. It's going to be GT Classic.
Ah, so pretty much the opposite of this.
Well, it's similar in that we start the game with no items, and all of a sudden we have all the items. But
Yeah,
instead
the
of
second half is
we
the
go and
opposite.
collect them all again, it is going to be a boss rush.
And we're not required to collect gravity suit or speed booster first. And we're allowed to pick up energy tanks. So.